Straight ahead on NewsWatch, President Trump's health care bill is making its way to the Budget Committee. See what's ahead as lawmakers move to replace Obamacare. Plus, the right to choose will show you a new movement that gives parents more options when it comes to their children's education. And need some motivation for your Monday? We are hearing from jazz recording artist Ben Tankard. His journey to success is sure to inspire you. Thank you so much for joining us for CBN NewsWatch. I'm Ephraim Graham. The American Health Care Act heads to the Budget Committee this week and is on track to be on the House floor by the end of the month. Abigail Robertson spoke with key members of Congress about where the bill stands now and where Republicans are planning to take it from here.
The rollout of the new health care bill had some rocky times in its first week. But the House Republican leadership is putting on the full court press to get members on board with their repeal and replace plan.
This is the closest we will ever get to repealing and replacing Obamacare. The time is here, the time is now. This is the moment, and this is the closest this will ever happen.
They hope to replace Obamacare in 3 stages, with Phase 1 being passing the bill through a process called budget reconciliation. The bill is written in a way to prevent Democrats from filibustering it in the Senate, so it can be passed with a simple majority.
This is like trying to get things out of your house when it's on fire. So you'd like to take it all at once, but you can't take it all at once, and you've got to take it out, in different waves.
Phase 2 involves the HHS Secretary, Tom Price, using authority granted to him under Obamacare to make more changes to improve the healthcare system.
He's got unbelievable authority under the ACA to do all kinds of things. There's 1,400 places in the ACA where it says the secretary may or the secretary shall. Never thinking that somebody like Tom Price was going to be the Secretary of Health and Human Services. And I would argue that's a very good thing.
In Phase 3, Congress will pass bills through the normal legislative process, with provisions that can't be done by reconciliation, like allowing insurance companies to sell policies across state lines.
This is the repeal and replacement product that the president wants, that he's given us the indication he's willing to roll up his sleeves and work with us to get it to the finish line.
Some pro-life groups are voicing concern that under the new health care bill, refundable tax credits provided by the plan could be used to fund abortions. But Congressman Reed says this is just based on misinformation.
I'm a pro-life member, proud of our pro-life record. It is clear that that's not going to be the case as we go forward. And so just getting more information, that's part of the process too.
Supporters of the bill won their first victories as it passed 2 committees last week. But there are still divisions in the Republican ranks over key elements of the plan. And some conservatives say it needs less government involvement for health care and more for the free market.
Within the bill itself, we are not creating an environment where the market can flourish yet.
Members of the Conservative Freedom Caucus, like Congressman Louis Gohmert and Jim Jordan, told CBN News why they're strongly opposed to the bill as it stands.
We didn't tell the voters we're going to repeal Obamacare, but we're going to keep some of the Obamacare taxes. I know I didn't tell them that. We didn't tell the voters we're going to repeal Obamacare, but we're going to take the Medicaid expansion and extend it and keep it for more years. We didn't say that. And we certainly didn't say we're going to repeal Obamacare, but we're going to start a new entitlement.
Jordan introduced a bill calling for a clean repeal of Obamacare and then wants to debate how to replace it. He says as of now, he will not vote for the House leadership bill.
No, not now. Of course not. So we're going to, we'll see.
President Trump is using his art of the deal tactics to woo rogue Republicans into supporting the plan he refers to as wonderful by inviting the Freedom Caucus to the White House for a bowling party. But it could be a hard sell.
If we're setting this thing up so it's not completely getting rid of Obamacare, that it leaves massive parts of it, then we got problems.
For now, House leadership in the White House are focused on friendly negotiations with skeptical conservative members before they start forcing them to get in line. Reporting from Capitol Hill, Abigail Robertson, CBN News.
As North Korea continues to perfect its ballistic missiles and nuclear weapons, South Korea is undergoing a major political crisis. And it's created an even more dangerous situation on the Korean Peninsula. Dale Hurd has this story.
Intelligence analysis now confirms North Korea's ballistic missile launch last week was a practice drill to test hitting a U.S. Marine base in Japan. The North fired 4 extended-range Scud rockets into the Sea of Japan. 2 missile experts say the hypothetical target was U.S. Marine Corps Air Station Iwakuni. South Korea's acting president says as North Korea is continuing its nuclear test and ballistic missile provocations, the current security situation of the Korean Peninsula is very urgent and serious. South Korea is going through an historic political upheaval with the impeachment and removal of President Park. The next president to be elected in May will likely take a much softer approach to North Korea. The frontrunner Moon Jae-in has called for economic reunification with the North and eventual political and military unification. He's also called for recognition of Kim Jong-un as North Korean leader. Alarmed by North Korea's weapons test, South Korea and the U.S. have agreed to deploy THAAD, the Terminal High Altitude Area Defense Missile System in South Korea. That angers China, which sees it as a threat to its security. North Korea's nuclear arsenal could contain or at least build up to 20 nuclear bombs. It has enough plutonium and highly enriched uranium to make many more, and small enough to be delivered on a missile, creating a clear and present danger to North Korea's neighbors. And some experts believe the North will likely have the nuclear missile capability to reach the United States within around 10 years. Dale Hurd, CBN News.
Just in time for spring, a major storm is taking aim at several parts of the country. Today, Philadelphia, Boston, and New York are preparing for a major nor'easter. Meteorologists say it is supposed to be one of the biggest storms this winter. Other areas like Minneapolis have already gotten hit.
Awful.
Why?
The snow is crazy. I didn't expect it to get this bad. It's intense. So crazy.
Indeed. The Philadelphia area could see 6 to 12 inches of snow, while Boston and New York could be left with up to 18 inches. It is a question many parents have to consider. Where will I send my child to school? A new movement called the School Choice Program is working to give parents more options to answer that question. Ben Kennedy has the story.
To be able to select foods that are what? That are good for our body.
10th grader Amaria Jones is learning about biology at Cornerstone, a Christian school in Washington, D.C. that she's attending thanks to School Choice.
I'm able to, have more time to learn, I guess, and also go to teachers for extra help.
She is excited about getting up every day to get here on time, to learn, to maintain her grades.
The School Choice movement aims to let parents decide where their child learns, giving them options other than just the public school in their neighborhood. State-run programs even provide scholarships for low-income families like Jones to help cover tuition.
We didn't become eligible until after my husband had an accident and I had to leave to become a caregiver. But it's always been important to us to find the best school that we could.
It was worth it because somebody gave me a choice to, choose.
How important is it to have a school that's faith-based?
Very important for me. I think this makes me comfortable. At the public school I went to, I didn't feel like I could share my faith with others, and I wasn't as strong in my faith.
Opponents of school choice argue that it affects the public education system and it turns education into a profit-making industry.
The voucher that we receive from the federal government is far less than the per pupil allotment given to the public schools. So in essence, for every student that comes to Cornerstone using that voucher, we actually save the public schools money. So I think it's a false argument to say that we hurt the public schools in any way.
In President Trump's recent address to Congress, he called education the civil rights issue of our day and suggested that allowing school choice will help revitalize urban regions that are failing minority kids.
These families should be free to choose the public, private, charter, magnet, religious, or homeschool that is right for them.
After the speech, Trump traveled to Orlando with his Education Secretary Betsy DeVos, who's been a national leader in the school choice movement.
We see that DC, our school choice parents who are in school choice programs, especially the DC Opportunity Scholarship Program, they have higher rates of graduation.
Jones is on track to graduate and is just thankful she got the chance to choose.
I'm just lucky to have the school choice and the opportunity scholarship.
Ben Kennedy, CBN News, Washington.
Coming up, speaking the truth may soon get you arrested if you're pro-life and living in France, exposing the potential fallout from a new law when we come back. Members of the pro-life movement in France could soon face a serious crackdown, and that threat is coming from the French government. Dale Hurd brings us this story now from Paris.
The French pro-life movement faces being crippled by a proposed law that would criminalize any website that tries to persuade a woman not to have an abortion. Anyone convicted under the so-called crime of digital interference law could get 2 years in prison and a $31,000 fine. While it's passed the Senate and National Assembly, it's not law yet. It's being reviewed by France's highest legal body, the Constitutional Council. This isn't the United States, where the pro-life movement is a major political force. If passed, as many expect, the law will make an already weak anti-abortion movement in France even weaker. The government says it's trying to stop fake news about abortion. Pro-life leaders call it censorship of their views, and they feel like their movement is being strangled.
This law has the risk of suffocating the pro-life movement.
Jean-Marie Lomenet is president of the Jérôme Lejeune Foundation, one of France's leading pro-life organizations.
This new law is extremely dangerous because it limits the freedom of expression. First, it means that the government is deciding what is right and what is wrong, what we can tell about abortion and not.
The law targets words and messages that might deter, dissuade, or hinder women from having an abortion.
This law goes pretty far, since the mere fact of saying the truth could discourage a woman from having an abortion. Showing what abortion is technically a deterrent.
American pro-life websites like these would be illegal under the new French law, as would these web pages shown to us on the Jérôme Lejeune Foundation's own website. Opponents of the proposed law appealed to France's Constitutional Council because the law would restrict freedom of speech. While that argument would probably work in the United States, it may not work in France, where pro-life forces lost the abortion debate long ago. France legalized abortion in 1975 and is today one of the most pro-abortion nations in Europe, with more than 2/3 saying in one poll that a woman should be able to have an abortion whenever she wants. Journalist Anne-Elizabeth Moutet says the pro-life movement is seen by the government as denying women the human right to abortion.
The view of the French is that as long as women are entitled to have abortions, you cannot actively have propaganda that will prevent them from making an informed choice about exercising that right. That's the way the French law goes.
In France, 96% of Down syndrome babies are aborted. Last year, the French government banned this ad showing smiling, happy Down syndrome children. Lemonet says the government sees abortion as social progress, along with euthanasia, gay rights, and same-sex marriage. The French haven't gone along with all of it. 4 million marched against gay marriage and gay adoption before losing the battle. France is still a majority Catholic country, even if most people don't attend church regularly. But there has not been the same outrage over this law, and passage could come soon, making it even harder to protect the unborn in France.
The few constraints that were shaping the law on abortion are now void. This means that organizations such as Planned Parenthood, which is publicly funded, and the government have the monopoly on telling the truth, but are in fact telling lies about abortion.
Dale Hurd, CBN News, Paris.
Up next, from dog catcher to legendary recording artist, we're sitting down with Ben Tankard for an inspiring interview you won't want to miss. Stay with us. Here's a question for you. How do you go from dog catcher to best-selling recording artist? The man who knows is the perfect man to inspire you and to live your life on a full tank. We're sitting down now with Ben Tankard for this week's Studio 5 interview.
Jazz pianist Ben Tankard is a master on the keys, but he's never taken a piano lesson. It's one of several amazing journeys he shares in his book, The Full Tank Life. Fuel your dreams, ignite your destiny.
Jazz artist, pastor, father, grandfather, author as well. What inspired The Full Tank Life? What prompted you to write this?
I felt like I was so full of wisdom from failures and victories that I should pass this on to other people so they can have a shortcut to success, having a full tank life. We've all been driving and the low fuel light came on. That's okay driving, but you don't want that to be in real life.
In real life, Ben Tankard's family plate is quite full.
Oh my goodness, you can see the heart. It's moving a lot, the legs are going everywhere. Really? Baby, take out that dead in that shot.
Some of that life is captured in the family's hit reality show.
Many people watch Thicker Than Water and see your life. Pilot, gorgeous family, beautiful home, and they see the success, would be surprised that it wasn't always like that, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you know, my wife now, she was born with a silver spoon in her mouth. Me, it was a plastic spoon, and it had been used 2 or 3 times before. Oh, wow. so we were very, very poor. Powdered eggs, powdered milk, hamburger helper with no hamburger. My dad used to walk around with food stamps on the money clip. Oh, wow. So we didn't have nothing, Doc. So I'm very appreciative of everything that has happened. I thought my way out of the ghetto would be pro ball, 6'6" by the time I'm in the 6th grade, 18 inches taller than the rest of the class. But I was a musician too, tuba player in the band. So here I am, picture this, getting ready to graduate from high school, 35 scholarship offers for tuba, which I love, 30 scholarship offers for basketball, which I like. Now which one do I take? My mom said that, hey, we're black, we're poor, you're tall, play ball. You know, so I took the basketball scholarship. Not because I loved basketball, but because I was tall and we was poor. And that's my whole story. I got to play pro and got injured before the season started, got cut, and that's where I really discovered my true destiny, which was to play piano. And I went to a service and got saved, a revival service, and the minister told me to sit to the piano. And God gave me this keyboard gift overnight.
You never played before?
I had never played, keyboard. I played tuba. And thank God that he gave me this keyboard gift, because how many people are going to call me on studio to cut tuba tracks on their album? This is true. And so I went from being a pro baller to a no baller to a professional sounding jazz musician. But the recording contracts and the money and the fame did not come immediately. It came several years later. What people don't hear about, which is in the book, is what I was doing while I was waiting on the breakthrough with this gift. I was a dog catcher, man. A dog catcher with a jerry curl. With a jerry curl, yeah.
And now we sit hairless.
Yeah. And they give me an animal badge that said Animal Control Officer. And that was just to make me feel better, because you can't arrest a dog.
I know. You can't control a dog either.
But my big break came when I got this music gift, and but I can't make a living on it yet. And so I'm catching dogs, and on my lunch break, I would go into the music stores that sold pianos and organs and play around on those people's keyboards with my dog catching uniform on my lunch break. There's a truck outside, dog truck with got dogs in it, and I'm on my lunch break playing the keyboard because that music was in my heart. Long story short, I'm in the plane one day, and there's a customer walking around, and she hears me playing, and she tells the store owner, "Oh my God, I love that music I'm hearing. I'll buy the piano that the dog catcher is playing." Wow. And the store owner said, "Ben, can you keep playing?" So I kept on coming every day on my lunch break, and every time I played, somebody bought something. So one day he says, "Ben, why are you catching dogs anyway?" I said, "Well, I got to do something while I'm waiting on a breakthrough." He said, "Well, how much do you get paid catching dogs?" I said, $980 a month. He says, "How much would I need to pay you for you to come in here and work full time, 9 to 5, as a keyboard demonstrator?" I'm like, "Are you kidding me? Play keyboard for money? $979.99. So he hired me, and that was my first music job, as a keyboard demonstrator for Main Street Music in Tallahassee, Florida. There's where God developed me in showing people, demonstrating keyboards. That's where my gift was developed. And I was playing for a living 8 hours a day, and I was able to purchase equipment half price to get my home studio built. And then I was able to go full-time in my home studio. That's how I got into the music business.
Now, that is how Ben got his start in the music business. You can find the rest of the story in his book, The Full Tank Life. You can also enjoy his music on his latest Full Tank Life recording. Stay with us. We're coming right back. Time now for your Monday motivation. I pray this is a message that will jumpstart your day and your week. Consider this. You have to do what others won't to get the result that others don't. Do the work. God has equipped you to do it, and He will bring you to it. With that word, make this a marvelous Monday. Be sure to have a wonderful day and a wonderful week. You have everything you need to make that a reality. Well, that is going to do it for this edition of CBN NewsWatch. Thank you so much for watching. Remember, you can reach us by email, newswatch@cbn.com. You can also reach out to us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and Snapchat. We would certainly love to hear from you. Once again, thank you so much for watching CBN NewsWatch. We'll see you right back here, same time tomorrow. Make this a marvelous Monday and a wonderful week. God bless you, everybody.